Hi, everybody. We completed last week chapter 38. We're ready to start chapter 39, Perek Lamed Tes. I also want to share that tonight is Chaf Cheshvan, the 20th of Cheshvan. It is the 20th day of the month of Cheshvan, which is the birthday of the 5th Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Rebbe Rashab, who started the yeshiva Tomchei Tmimim, which I am a student of. My great-grandfather was named after, he was one of the first 10 students of Tomchei Tmimim. And therefore, I would like to share a few teachings from the Rebbe Rashab in honor of his birthday. It's 165 from his birth. So I'd like to share some words, some teaching related to this chapter. In today's chapter, we are actually diving deeper into Kabbalah. And unlike last week, for example, in chapter 39, the rabbi is going to concentrate more on the Kabbalistic understanding of some concepts, and they will also, of course, have an impact on our life and our day-to-day service of God. So just last week, we completed the idea of division by 4, and we're going to talk about it more today. And generally speaking, the universes God created in order for us to be created the way we are. There was a process of 4 different universes. It's not galaxies. It's not spaces. It's 4 different stages. And we have discussed that action is more important than anything else. That's why God chose us and chose us to receive the Torah, because we are the only one who can fulfill the mitzvot and serve God. At the same time, God is also wants our kavana. And we spoke a lot about kavana. Kavana is concentration. And kavana, as we discussed last week, the rabbi shares that there are 2 types of kavana. There is one to be in the moment, as mentioned by Heidi last week, where I am paying attention to what I'm doing. We call it a natural kavana. You pray, you pay attention to the words, you eat matzah, you pay attention to what you do. God said, eat matzah. You light Shabbat candles, you say Kiddush Friday night. This is, we call it in the world, the second world of Yetzirah, of animal. Animals are natural instinct. They behave, they conduct themselves, even their intelligence is subdued to their instinct. Then you have a deeper kavana. The rabbi reversed. The rabbi spoke about the highest level of kavana. I am just for the sake of clarity. The second level of kavana is when you take your time to understand who am I, who created me, why, and how much I owe God, so to say. And that brings a awe and open love towards God. Now we use our brains and intelligence, and the rabbi in chapter 38 says that this elevates my connection to God and my mitzvah to the level of Beria, of a higher level of human, not animal, because the human possesses intelligence and can change, can affect their essence. I shared with you last week that the reason God created us in this way, there is a blessing and a curse. Because if we don't find a purpose, we don't serve God properly, we can be worse than animals. But the reason it is this way is because God wants us to surprise Him and to show Him that we can be a different human being than the way He created us. When I improve and I do an altruistic conduct, I help someone, I do something good that's unexpected, there is nothing to gain, and there is no benefit, then I am a whole new person. And for Ali, I would like to share a story I just learned. I don't know the meaning of it, but it's a story I would like to share. There was a lady in Israel walked into a bank, and asked to borrow 300 shekel. This happened about 20 years ago. And the customer rep, the teller, the bank teller, looked at her, punched the code of our bank account, and said, "I'm sorry, you're in negative already for a while." In Israel, if you're in negative, you start paying interest, and it accumulates very fast. And she said, "So you're in a very high negative. How dare you ask for a loan?" And she says, "Well, I need to buy food for Shabbos. I don't have food for Shabbos. I need 300 shekel to buy fish and meat and chicken soup and challah for me and my children." And he said, "I'm sorry. There is no way I can lend you more before you pay your debt." The bank manager heard that, and he ran out and he says, "Come, let me help you. I will give you the money." And she, at that moment, refused. So he said, no, please, let me help you. And he opened up his wallet, and he took out 300 shekel, and he wanted to give her. She refused, and he chased her. He had to chase her several blocks and then convince her to accept the money. When he came back, the bank teller turned to him and says, I'm sorry, I didn't know it's so important for you to help that lady. Had I known, I would have given her the money willingly. Why did you do that? She's no special. And the bank teller says, many years back, I was a little child, and I grew up with a single parent, my mother. And my mother did not have money. And one day, I walked in with my mother on the way to the shuk, to the marketplace to buy food for Shabbos, and there was no money. And my mother went to the bank. She stopped by the bank, and she turned to the bank teller, and she said, "Can I borrow money for Shabbos, to buy food for Shabbos? I don't know when I'll be able to return because my ex-husband is not keeping his commitments." And the bank teller said to my mother, I was there, a little child, "I'm sorry, you don't pay your debts, you don't pay your commitments. I cannot. It's a bank policy." And my mother bit her tongue, turned around and walked out, and she was crying all the way back home. That teller had a daughter, a young daughter. And that daughter grew up. And when the lady walked into the bank today, it was the daughter of that teller who refused my mother 35 years ago. And when she walked in, I knew exactly who she is. And when I heard the conversation, I said to myself, this is my opportunity to do a little bit different. God wanted that bank teller that his own family will have to come back and beg, so they sense, they experience what it means to be refused. And I said to myself, I will not do the same. I will not allow her to go home in hunger, and that's why I took it from my own pocket and I paid her. This is the idea of kavana. We have an ability to serve God in a way, not the way that's expected, to be above, to be different. So we are creating a new person. God says, this is the way I created you, and what grew out of you is totally a different person. This applies to a Jew and a non-Jew alike. There are many non-Jews who have had many, many events or many times in their life where they were able to change the course of history, and even if in the micro, save people, save the universe, save their community, change, and they have shown God that the human being is a gem, that there is not a limit to the dimension, to the reflection of colors it can produce. It just depends on how you hold it against the light and what kind of light. And brings to mind a story about Poland. There was a very secular, non-observant Knesset member in Israel by the name of Shevach Weiss. He was part of a party that was very anti-religion. He came from Poland. He was a Holocaust survivor, and he left God because God did not do what he expected God to do, obviously during the Holocaust. And in the late 90s, there was a lot of friction between Israel and Poland. Part of it had to do with the Holocaust, the memory of the Holocaust. The Polish people started speaking that it's enough to blame the Poland. It was Germany who did all the atrocity against the Jews, not us, and stop blaming us. And there was a lot of friction. This Shebach Weiss, being a Polish man, traveled. He was with a group, a delegation that traveled to Poland, and he was interviewed by the Polish television. And one of the questions, they turned to him and they asked him, what do you tell? What can you say about all the atrocity that happened on this land? All of the bloodshed, all of the mass murders, mass graves. There were towns, entire Jewish towns, that the non-Jews band together and killed the entire town, the Jewish people in that town. So now Shebach Weiss later recounted, and he said he knew that if whatever he says will be viewed by millions of people and will change people's life about their attitude towards Jewish people. So he turned around the question and he says, for every one Polish man who acted as a monster, there were at least 10 who acted in kindness and saved lives. How many stories do we know of farmers who hid Jews in a barn against their better judgment, because they knew that if they get caught, their entire family is going to be wiped out? Yet those stories don't surface to the ground. All you hear is about the not good. But I want you to know that to go and say that the Polish people are bad people and they hated the Jews is totally, totally wrong, because there is a much larger number of Polish people that their act defies logic in the way that they saved Jewish people. What he did is he removed all the tension, and he has caused so much change. Just a little answer, one simple answer that he gave, which is very true. There are many, many people that have showed God that what a human being is capable of doing is way above and beyond what's expected. Animals, if it's a cruel animal, it will never be kind. If it's a kind animal, it will never be cruel. Because they are operating on instinct. This is what we spoke about last week. So therefore, natural intention, kavana. So by the way, if you have only action, I eat the matzah, I have no idea why. I pray, I have no idea what I'm saying, because I don't speak the language and I don't care what I'm saying. I'm just saying because my father told me. Then the prayers will discover belong in the world of Asiya, the first lower world, action. If I have intention, the most basic intention, just instinct intention, then it goes to the world of Yetzirah, one above, which is the animalistic, the world, we call it, of animals. If I have a deep thought and concentration and kavana in the better way of understanding, then it's elevated to the world of Beria. Beria is human, where the intelligent exist, and it's elevated to a much higher level. So far, so good. Now, it's closer to God. And it brings later on greater pleasure to the soul. Right. The rabbi in chapter 39 is going to speak about 4 different, 39 and 40, about 4 universes. The first part, which hopefully we'll cover today, is Yetzirah and Bria, the second and the third. The second part of chapter 39 is going to talk about the world of Atzilut, the first one, the upper one. And the next chapter is going to talk about the world of Asiya, the lowest of all 4. So let's talk very briefly. The rabbi also is going to compare a human soul to angels. Which one of the two you think is greater? Souls or angels? Anybody?
No.
Souls. Why?
Change.
Thank you very much. You're right on target. So what the rabbi is going to say is, even though angels seem to be closer to God, it's not necessarily that they are greater.
Between angel and soul is exposed to many things, but angel has only one direction. Serves God and has no choice.
Very good. That just like animals. So angels are in the world of Yetzirah. How do we refer to angels? Animals. Ve'aofanim ve'chayos hakodesh, the holy animals. When Ezekiel went up to heaven and he saw the vision of God is sitting on a chariot, there were eagle, ox, and lion, animals. These are angels that look like animals. What's the comparison between the two? It's a one-dimension conduct. They have a mission. That's why last week we read about 3 angels that were sent to Abraham and Sarah, because no one angel served more than one mission. Anybody heard that phrase before? And angels, when they are sent by God, they are sent only for a single mission. And therefore, there had to be a mission for one angel. One to cure Abraham, one to bless them with a child, and the third one is to turn Sodom and Gomorrah upside down. There is a lot of discussions about this. I don't want to get there. All I'm going to say is, based on what we discover now, angels are of a single dimension. Therefore, if an angel is about kindness, he's going to cure, he's going to bring rain, he's going to save. He cannot do the opposite. To destroy Sodom, you need another angel. That's the idea from Kabbalah, that no angel can do 2 missions. That's why we see that the same angel that cured Abraham saved Lot. There is no 4th angel. There's a whole discussion. What do you mean no angel does 2 jobs? He did. There is an angel that did 2 jobs. One that that cured Abraham from his circumcision, and the other, and the same one went later to save Lot. How come? And the answer, one of the answers, there is many answers. One of them is, it means the same kind of act of kindness, to save, to cure. It's one angel. But another one to destroy Sodom, or to be blessed with a child, it's a different attitude. You need a different angel, because one angel, unlike us, we can multitask. We can do multidimensional. I can be very angry today, and tomorrow I can be very kind. It can change. I can shift. I want to share with you also, this is our introduction, so you can read it quick. There is a chess player, there was a chess player in the 40s, one of the best one in United States, by the name of Shmuel Rashabsky. Shmuel Rashabsky was a religious Jew, and he was known as one of the best chess players. Huh? Did you know him? Did you hear about him? Okay. In 1948, he came for, he spent Shabbos, and the Rebbe and Afabringen would pick on people. The Rebbe wasn't a Rebbe yet. He was the son-in-law of the Rebbe, but his father-in-law ordered every Shabbat Mevarchim, like this Shabbos, every Shabbos before the new month, to have a Fabringen. So part of Fabringen, especially when they were guests, he would speak about the type of work they do, and you would connect it. When Shmuel Rashabsky was at the room, the Rebbe turned to him and he says, "You are a great chess player. Every one has of the pawns, every one of the tools on the board has a different mission and a different moves. The king can go only one move at a time. The queen can go many moves. What's the the castle only straight. The bishop only on a diagonal. And the one with the horse, what do you call him?
The knight.
The knight. The knight can jump,
You can go up one and
2 and 1.
I thought 2 and 3. Okay.
But for you, it's 5.
But then you have,
For you, it's 5.
but then you have the pawn. The pawns. They are simple, right? How many times we sacrifice pawns? All the time, right? Anytime. And pawns can only move one step, unless they kill somebody, or 2, or 3. Says the Rebbe, but from the entire game, the only one who can advance and change is the pawn.
Right.
The bishop will never change, no matter how far they go. The knight can never change. The king and queen will never change. The pawn, if they reach the other side, they turn into a queen. Says the Rebbe, neshama, the soul, is a pawn. The angels is the knight. They can fly. They can go back and forth. They can be the king. They can be the queen. They can be anything. But they will never change. We as humans are pawns. We're very simple. But we can change and become a queen. We have the ability to impact, to change, to improve, to become something else. That's the power of the soul. So when you put a bishop or a knight next to a pawn, you look at it, you're laughing. There's no comparison. But when you look at the ability for someone to become something better, to become a much greater than where they started from, you won't find anybody else other than a pawn. I am a pawn. And that's, the Rebbe says, that's what we can learn from chess about the connection between God and the Jewish people versus the neshama, versus their angels.
Chess player.
Okay. We spoke about the 4 worlds, and as I shared with you, there are 4. Last week we spoke, just want to go again very briefly. In prayer, when we pray, morning prayer, there are 4 stages. Hodu, Psuki de Zimra, until Baruch She'omar. From Baruch She'omar until Ishtabach, until the blessings of Shema is Yetzira. Shema is the 3rd one, Bria. That's why. Okay. And Amida is Atzilut, is the 4th one. After Amida, we come down. Same is, we spoke about the Torah. The Torah is divided into 4 parts. You have the Torah, you have the Mishnah, you have Gemara, you have Kabbalah. All simple, analytic, hinting, and the secret. And the same is the 10 attributes are divided into 4 categories. You have intelligence, that's Chokhmah, is Atzilut, Bina, and that is Bria. Yetzira is the 6 emotions, and Asiya, the last one, is Malchut, royalty, kingdom. I also have shared very many weeks before that the birth of a child, it goes through 4 stages that are 4 universes. And they are, Atzilut is the child in the father and mother before the mother conceived. In the essence, the ability for the father and the mother to be able to, they have the potential to have a child. That's Atzilut. The start of the conception, the moment that the father and mother connect, is Bria. The process of the pregnancy is Yetzira, like the 6 attributes. That's why, and then the actual birth is Asiya, is the action. When the child becomes an independent, he can cry, and he needs to be fed, and he needs to breathe on his own. And over time, they will mature to be able to be equal to their parents. These are 4 stages of the 4 universes in with a human being conception to the moment of birth. The rabbi is going to also speak about angels belong in the world of Yetzirah. However, there are angels that do belong in the world of Beria, one higher, and they are intelligent angels, and they are called Srafim. I just want to share from the Rebbe Rashab, from the 5th Lubavitcher Rebbe. He pointed out that Rambam, Maimonides, counts 10 levels of angels. In the start of the book of the Rambam, Yad HaChazakah, he's speaking about 10 levels of angels. And he says that the highest level of angels is Chayot, is animals, which is in the world of Yetzirah. And all the Kabbalists are asking, how come the Rambam stop only in Yetzirah? We know that there is Srafim. Srafim, as we'll see, are much higher than Chayos. And why is he counting 10 and he stopped in the world of Yetzirah? And the Rebbe Rashab says that if you look elsewhere, you will see that the Rambam reached up to that level. I'm sharing what the Rebbe Rashab said, that it is well known in Kabbalah circles that the Rambam, Kabbalah, in the Kabbalah connection, he reached only to the world of Yetzirah. Therefore, you're speaking about as far as he reached. He couldn't reach any farther. We don't even reach nothing compared to Rambam, but we at least have a Rebbe to teach us at different levels. Let's start. Page 549, I want to read. I'm reading the introduction of the rabbi to the Rebbe's words. In the previous chapter, the Alter Rebbe explains why our sages compare the performance of a mitzvah to a body and one's kavanah in performing the mitzvah to the soul. He stated that kavanah is intention, can be classified into two categories. Analogous to the two classes of creatures which possesses a soul, and they are animals and men. The higher level of kavanah is that created by an intellectual appreciation of godliness. Upon contemplating God's greatness, a love and fear of Him is born in one's heart, which translates into a desire to cleave to Him. This desire in turn motivates one to fulfill the Torah and Mitzvot, since they bind them to God, and this motivation is the kavanah in His fulfillment of the Torah and Mitzvot. Such kavanah, born of reason and produced by one's own volition, is analogous to the soul of man, the intelligent being who determines his actions by choice. So the highest level of kavanah is intelligent, and it belongs to the world of Beria, the third universe, where intelligent is what plays. The lower level of kavanah is that which stems from the arousal of the soul's natural, instinctive love and fear of God. Such kavanah is comparable to the soul of an animal, which is ruled by its natural instincts. So there's nothing wrong with an animal, but that's a natural instinct. The Alter Rebbe now opens chapter 39 by stating that for this reason, the angels who fear and love God by their very nature are metaphorically called animals. Based on what we understood, the difference between animal versus human, both possesses a soul, except one is instinct, the other is intelligent. Now we can understand that angels are termed animals. Says the Rebbe, for this reason, too, the angels are called chayot, beasts, and behemot, animals, as it is written, and an angel with the face of a lion is to the right of the divine chariot, and the face of an ox is unto the left. Why are they called chayot? Why are they compared to animals? What's wrong with making a baby face? Says the Rebbe, for they have no freedom of choice between good and evil, as man has. And their fear and love of God is natural to them. They need not create fear and love of God through intellectual contemplation of God's greatness, as is written in Raya Mehemna, Parshas Pinchas. Raya Mehemna is a section of Zohar, because their fear and love of God are natural and instinctive to them. They are compared to animals. Says the Rebbe, therefore, tzaddikim, righteous men, are on a higher level than them, the angels. The abode of the souls of tzaddikim is in the world of Beria, creation, whereas the abode of the angels is in the world of Yetzirah, formation. So you have Atzilut, animation, then you have Bria, creation, and then you have Yetzirah, formation. Angels are in formation, the second world. The third world, Beria, is humans as souls, because it is a much greater. They have choice. They make a choice. In other words, the greatest gift that God gave us is choice. As soon as you take a choice from a person, you have taken away all of what defines a human being. So give me freedom or give me the opposite is not, it's coined by an American founder, but it's actually embedded in the 10 Commandments that God gave us. When God says, I created you in my image, it refers to the free choice, to be able to become somebody that no one can imagine I can. And it works both ways, obviously. Says the Rebbe, let's continue. Here is the extra that the Rebbe added later. This is so only in the case of ordinary angels. There are, however, higher angels in the world of Bria, whose service of God is with an intelligent fear and love. Says the Rebbe, there are higher level of angels, but usually when you say angels, they belong in the world of Yetzirah. In the world of creation of Beria, there are some angels, but they are operating on the level of intelligence, just like humans. It is written in Raimemna over there that there are two kinds of holy chayot, instinctive and intelligent. That is, those who love and fear are instinctive, and those who create love and fear intellectually, as is also written in Eitz Chaim. Says the Rebbe, there are types of angels that belong in Beria, but they operate out of intelligence. They create love and fear of God out of intelligence. And the rest of angels belong in Yetzirah. The abode of ordinary angels, however, is in the world of Yetzirah, and they are thus lower than the souls of tzaddikim, whose abode is in Bria. The Rebbe now explain how intellectually created love and fear are related to Beria, and instinctive love and fear into Yetzirah. The Rebbe is going to connect intelligence to Beria and emotions or instinct to Yetzirah. But before, I want to show it you, and I believe I showed it before. There was a man that went through great challenges in their life, and they asked for the Rebbe's consultation with the Rebbe, private audience, Yechidus. And when they came into the Rebbe, they turned to the Rebbe and says, why couldn't God create a perfect universe where there's no pain and suffering? Why do I have to suffer? Why do I have to be challenged? And the Rebbe said, turned to him and he said, do you have a hobby? Is there something that you invest your life, that you have a talent? He says, yeah, I love painting. I love painting. And I returned to him, which painter do you appreciate most? He said, Picasso. So the Rebbe asked him, do you know any particular painting of Picasso? And the man mentioned a name of a Picasso that he was very much inspired by. And the Rebbe asked him, how much do you think the painting costs? He says, it's in a museum, but if it would be for sale, it would cost probably $1 million, $1.5 million, over $1 million. And the Rebbe says, what's this Picasso painting? He said, I remember, I heard the name, I forgot the name. It's about a child sitting by a pond while an elderly person is fishing. An elderly person is fishing, and right out next to it there is a house with a pathway leading to the pond, something like that. And Rebbe said, if I found the scene, that exact scene that Picasso is able to put on canvas, and I took a picture with the good filters and all the colors, how much do you think I can get if I put it for sale? And the man says that obviously there are. It's called postcards. There are postcards out for sale. They cost $0.25. And I said, I don't understand. Which one is better describing the scene with all the details, Picasso or the picture or the camera? And he says, obviously the picture. So how come for the picture are you going to give me $0.25? And for Picasso, you're going to give me $1 million, it's going to go for $1 million. The man says to the Rebbe, because Picasso is not perfect. Had he been perfect, creating a picture, there will be no value. Picasso has failing and he's missing details, but he put his essence in the painting. So when you look at the painting, you can, if it's a talented painter, you can see the type of mood. You can see what he wanted to express in that scene, even though it's a scene that you can have a picture of. Says the Rebbe, that's exactly what God wants from us. He don't want us to be living in a perfect universe. He's a Picasso. He wants us to paint a picture that's imperfect, that we didn't have the money to do it, and we did not do it right sometimes. Details are missing. It's not perfect. The picture, if you look closer, you're not sure if it's a box or it's a pot. But by looking at the painting over a lifetime, you are able to see the mood of the person, and you are able to see what he was trying to convey and express with that painting. I see that you're very cold. Heidi, you're not cold? Okay.
Unusual women.
Elizabeth, are you cold?
I'm always cold.
The wrong wall.
Flora says I don't have enough schmaltz.
She's
I'm
right.
a comedian today, I'm sorry.
She's right. The rabbi is going to tell us that the 10 attributes are also divided by the 4 universes, and therefore the world of creation corresponds to the part of intelligence called Chokhmah, Bina, and the world of Yetzirah, the world of formation, corresponds to the 6 attributes. What are the 6 attributes? Emotions, and therefore they belong to animals. The difference between Bria and Yetzirah, creation and formation, is as follows. In Yetzirah, only the midot of the blessed Ein Sof radiate. Only the emotions, the 6 attributes of Chesed, Gvura, etc. That is, only the Sfirot of Chesed, kindness, Gvura, severity, etc. Meaning the love of Him corresponding to Chesed, dread and fear of Him corresponding to Gvura, and so on with the other 4 midot. As is written in Tikkunei Zohar and in Eitz Chaim, that the 6 Sfirot, that is, the 6 midas of Chesed through Yesod, the nesting in, that is, pervade in the world of Yetzirah. By the way, the difference between Beria, creation, and Yetzirah, which is formation, is the difference between intelligence and emotions. What's the difference between them? There are many. Each one is unique. But one of the very distinguished differences is intelligent is for myself. I can be in a room by myself and contemplate and discover and find solutions and study. I don't have to have somebody else. Emotions, on the other hand, it's all about somebody else. Being kind to another person, being strict for another person. Therefore, it's very noisy. As we'll discover, the angels make a lot of noise because they belong to the world of emotions. Therefore, they express their connection to God through lots of noise. The human belongs, the neshama belongs in the world of creation, Beria. Over there, it's all intelligent. Intelligence is cold and calculated. The 4 partsufim, literally countenances, that is, configuration of Sfirot, of the spirit of Atzilus, the world of emanation radiates into the 4 worlds, Atzilus, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya, action, 1 partsuf, predominant in each world, representing the manifestation of godliness in the world. I am going to skip what the rabbi is telling us, the introduction here, because we already discussed it. There are 4 universes: Atzilut, emanation; Beria, creation; Yetzirah, formation; Asiya, action. We are in the world of action. Above us is animals, emotions. That's where angels are. Above it is creation, where the neshama came from. Above it is Atzilut, where it all started. Also, I think I shared with you the neshama, the soul of a human, is divided into 5. But 1 part is in God, Yechida. Forget about that. The other 4 are divided into 4 universes. So which one is in the world of Yetzirah? Ruach. Ruach is in Yetzirah, it's compared to animal. Neshama is in Bria. That's what we're talking about, neshama. Nefesh is the lowest of all, and those of us who have been to the Sunday discussion, we have discussed at great length the difference between nefesh and the rest of them. Therefore, I'm reading on page 553. Therefore, this is the service of the angels whose abode is in Yetzirah, as mentioned above, constantly, never ceasing, day or night, to stand in fear and dread of God. In other words, they make a lot of noise and commotion because they connect with emotions. This refers to the entire host of angels under Gabriel, which is on the left representing the midah of Gevurah, which evokes fear and awe. Therefore, all these angels stand in constant fear of God. Gabriel is the one in charge of Gevurah. Gevurah means strictness, awe, and therefore he has an untold host of angels. They all serve God. And the service of the host of angels under Michael is chesed, is kindness. On the other hand, is love of God. They stand in constant adoration of godliness, corresponding to the midah of chesed and so on. So each one of the angels, there are different angels in 6 different levels, and they all are in the world of Yetzirah. It's all about it's all about emotions, and therefore they are very, very excited. It's expressed, as opposed to the neshama in the world of creation, bria. Thus, because midot constitute the dominant partsuf in Yetzirah, the service of the creatures in Yetzirah consists of emotion. But in the world of Beriah, the world of creation, which is above it, radiate the Chokhmah, Bina, and that of the Blessed Ein Sof. That is, the upper 3 Sfirot, Chabad of Atzilut, which are the source of Midot and their mother and root. The Rabbi says the root of emotion starts from intelligent. Therefore, the world of emotions is under intelligent. So you have Beriah, Chokhmah, Bina, Dat, then you have Yetzirah, the one below it, which is Midas. I hope I made myself clear. I don't want you to get lost, but I don't want to keep repeating myself. As is written in Tikkun Zohar, that Ima Ilah, literally, the supernal mother, that is the Sphira of Bina, described as mother of the world of Atzilut, nest in the throne, meaning in the world of Bria, and with 3 Sphirot of Atzilut, Chokhmah, Bina, and Dat. And therefore, because these 3 Sphirot, Chokhmah, Bina, Dat, of the Ein Sof radiate in the world of Beriah, it is therefore the abode of the souls of those tzaddikim who serve God with a fear and love that stem from understanding and knowledge of God's greatness. Why? This love, being called Reuta de Liba, literally, the heart's desire, that is, a desire created by intellect, as opposed to a desire that transcends intellect, as mentioned above. Harry, are you following?
I've never been so confused in my life.
Said that to him, no idea what's going on.
All right, all this in three simple sentences, I love you forever.
And I already got excited.
Is it only the tzaddikim we're talking about?
Yes, and that's the next point I wanted to make.
So, I was
That's
thinking,
what I thought I read earlier. Are you talking about like all of the fans, or if it's just the tzaddikim, or?
Only those who serve God in the mitzvot with kavana, at the level of intellect. And that's what the rabbi is going to come full circle. But what if you serve God with kavana? That's a natural instinct. You get locked up with the angels in the world of Yetzirah. Do you understand that, Ali?
Only the tzaddikim.
Not a tzaddik. Anytime you serve God with proper kavana to the highest level, there are 2 levels of kavana, right? The highest level, then you elevate the mitzvah and the energy to the world of Beriah, the world of creation.
Okay.
Now you understand?
Our soul connects.
We will talk about if a person does serve God with kavana of the lowest level, why is he any better than an angel? After all, he's in that world, he's in that universe. Ali, I'm addressing you. Ah,
If you're only doing the covenant at the lowest level,
you're stuck with the angels. Right. Says the Rebbe, still the human, the soul is greater than the angels for two reasons. I'm giving you an advance notice. One reason is because we got there by choice as opposed to angels. Therefore, it's more cherished by God. And second, there is a column, a mood. The column, you know, in the fire department, they can sleep on the third floor and they have a column. What do you call it? They have a pole. There is a amud, a pole that the souls can climb up on Shabbos and holidays to the world of Beria, to the higher world. Angels will never be able.
Saying that God is surrounded by 22,000 angels. Can you imagine the numbers?
No. When they are by God, they are quiet. When they are close to God, they are silent. They must be silent. Okay, so I am so sorry. Let's explain it again.
Yeah.
We have 4 universes. Do you understand that? The highest world is called Atzilut. I'll give you a simple way. When I was the first time I was 4 years old introduced to it, Atzilut begin with what letter? Aleph. Aleph is the first letter. So it's the first one. What's the next world called? Bria. What's the letter that begins with? Bet. So it's the second one. Atzilut means emanation. Remember I told you there are 4 levels of a child being conceived? Atzilut is a universe where the father and mother get engaged and get married and they want to have children. But they did not cohabitate yet. They have the potential to have a child. That's what Atzilut is. It's a universe, but it's connected to God. It's part of God, not a separate entity.
So all 4 universes are connected to God?
All of them, yes. It's different levels. Then you have Beria, creation. Creation refers to the start of something new. It's not separated. The child is conceived. You take a pregnancy test, and the answer is there is a viable life there that's separate. There is a heart beating. But it's nothing. It has no shape. You can't see anything. Then we have a third universe called Yetzirah. Yetzirah is formation. Creation is the start, to create from nothing. Then you have Yetzirah. Something is forming into body parts, hands, feet, etc. So far, so good. Harry, did I do something wrong?
No, it's not personal. I have to believe you.
Oh, okay.
I'll be back.
I asked Mechila in advance.
Okay, thank you. Be well.
So again, the word Beria translating to creation. The child is conceived. But what is the child? Not right. Bereshit bara Elokim. In the beginning, God created. Right. But it's letter bet. It's a second. Then the third universe is called Yetzirah, formation. You know what formation means? I pour chocolate into a mold, and the mold over time in the oven or in the refrigerator will form into shape. Without that mold and having it freeze or having it cooked, it will not become what it is. It's still liquid. The child will get formed over a period of how many? 9 months, right? That's the 6th attribute. That's the world of Yetzirah. Then comes the 4th universe called Asiya. Asiya is Maaseh, action. The world that we created. A child is born. Now he can kick. Now he's pooping. Now he needs to eat. Now he has to breathe on his own. Until now, none of it existed. Are we clear with that? The child, when it is born, can live without the parents. You can deny the parents' existence. Sure.
Unbelievable.
He can have someone adopting him. It's always like that. It happens all the time like that.
So that's the lowest.
That's the lowest, where there is total separation between the creator and the created, the entity that was created. In Yetzirah, it's called 50-50. You can deny, but you can also connect. It's a separate entity. You can ask, the mother is carrying a baby, or the animal is carrying a baby. Why? I don't know, because it's a slow process. You can say, well, someone might have stuck it there, or the mother gave it, or the father. How do you know the father is involved? We're not sure the father. There is no proof. Beriah is so connected to God still that majority is good and the minority is not. Atzilot, there is nothing. It's still God.
I'm sorry, there's nothing.
There is no separate entity. It's a universe, but there is nothing separated from God. We call it keter, crown. In the 10 attributes, it's outside the 10 attributes. It's crown. It's the desire to have universes.
And Tov. In both.
In,
There's 50,
right,
50,
right.
There's, and then in this world, it's mostly.
Ra and
Ra
Tov is what I was
and
talking about.
Tubit.
In the world of action, majority is evil. In the world of Yetzirah, 50-50. In the world of Bria, majority. In the world of Atzillah, it's all good. Elizabeth, did you understand?
Yep.
Heidi, did you
Definitely.
understand?
It's getting much better.
Now,
Fires a few times.
action, okay, I'm so sorry. Action is the lowest world. Emotions is one above. Intelligent is one above it. The one above the intelligent is outside the system. It's the crown, like a crown that you put on top of a king. It's not part of the king. You can take it off. It's nothing to do with the king. But it creates everything. It makes him the king. If he has no crown, he's not the king. Says the Rebbe, and the Rebbe spoke about it at length last week, that when I do action, of course, that's what counts. I have to preface that. If someone had all the intention and awe and love of God, and he did not serve God with action, he did not fulfill God's desire. Action is the most important. But action without intention, kavana, is like a body without a soul. You have the action, you have the body, because it stays in this universe. I think I shared with you about 2 chapters ago. The Rebbe once came and said that this synagogue, one of the first Rebbe of the Alter Rebbe, walked into a synagogue in a community and he says it's a great it's a graveyard in this synagogue. You don't remember? The Alter Rebbe once came into a synagogue of Misnagdim, of non-Hasidic, who learned Talmud only to adore themselves and make themselves famous and honored. He says, this is a huge graveyard. And they say, what do you mean graveyard? It's a holy place. He says, all of the pages of Talmud that you have studied never ascended. They're stuck here. It's a big, big cemetery for so many Torah study pages. Because if you're doing action or you're doing it for the wrong reason, which we're going to talk about in this chapter, it does not ascend. That's what it means without kavana. It's like a body without a soul. It has no life. Therefore, it cannot elevate. So far, so good. What about if you have a kavana in the low form, an instinct, a natural kavana, meaning you pay attention to what you're doing, but there is no revealed love and awe of God? It elevates to the second universe, which is formation. It counts, and counts with kavana. It's alive. It's alive. But it goes up one level. What happens if you have an intellectual connection? Because you contemplate before prayer, and I think I shared with you that Hasidim will take a long time, just like a handyman, measure and contemplate and make sure they have the right tools. They take the time. Then when you pray, it elevates it to the world of Beriah, intelligent. Did you understand so far? Now, in this chapter, says, let's see the difference between angels and souls. Generally speaking, angels are one-dimensional. Either they are in love of God or in awe of God. Therefore, they come from and they go to the world of Yetzirah, the second, the formation, the one where it's all about emotions. A soul of a tzaddik who perform God's commandments with kavana on the higher level, they elevate that energy to a much greater world, to the world of Beriah. Did you understand? What I added is to make it more exciting, is that as we will discover, what happened if a soul had not do the kavana on the highest level, but the lowest level? Where is that energy go to? It goes to the world of Yetzirah, the same place where the angels are. But still, they are preferred over the angels, their energy. Why? For two reasons, as the Rabbi will tell us. Number one, they did it on their own volition because they had a choice. Angels don't. And number two, as we'll discover, there is a column, there is a pole between the universes. And the angels are unable to climb up. A soul, when they brought a energy to the world of Yetzirah, on Shabbat and holidays, they can ascend one world higher. So there are times that that energy can go much greater. I don't want to get caught on into that because it's the text in this chapter the Rabbi is going to talk about. All is important to know is how important it is to have kavana, because when you have kavana, you are able to get closer. Your neshama and the energy gets a lot closer to God, into a separate universe, which is like 100.
What? And then what? What then what? You were saying.
Of course,
So that's the goal.
you are much closer to God. That's the greatest goal, the connection. Yes. Imagine you are, the king is having a birthday, and you are invited because you are part of the people. And there are levels of how close you can get. And when you are invited to the palace, they say you can come to the palace, but not to the ballroom where there's going to be a closed circuit TV screen. You can see the king delivering his speech and all the party and all the gifts that he's getting. Or you can go into the ballroom. Bria is where you go to the ballroom. Huh?
The VIP.
The VIP, the red carpet. And okay, so we will conclude the idea. Do you have an understanding now? Okay, Heidi? Better, okay. Next week we'll continue, God willing. Thank you so much. Be well, everybody.